Hey, how we doing there, gang? Kawaii50 here with another video for you, and today we're going to be looking at 2023 in Gacha gaming. Now, I was originally going to compile all this data myself and go ahead and dig for it and have a bunch of graphs and all that until I found that this existed. So we are going to use this and take a gander at this, and I am once again going to try to gas up this site because I find this website super duper interesting. All of the data on here is just crazy to see how popular some of the stuff is on. So gacharevenue.com is the big place here where we are taking a gander at this. So give that site a look, give that site a peek, and you too can look at the Gacha recap. We're not going to be hitting everything. I learned that from the last time we did this video, but there are a couple of really interesting things from this year that I wanted to go ahead and take a peek at. So be sure to go ahead, subscribe, comment, etc. Give the people over at this website some love because, man, compiling all this data must have been no easy feat, and I got to give them maximum props. And let's go ahead and check out the year in Gacha gaming, and let's go. Now, there is a section of brand new releases, like every game that came out last year. I didn't bother looking at that. Go check that out if you want to try to find a new game to go ahead and install and play and enjoy. But there were two things specifically from this Breaking Ground section I want to talk about. These new releases with the highest combined revenue. And those games are Honkai Star Rail and something I really wish had a US release already, Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade. Now, Honkai Star Rail made $381 million on its global version this year, which is absolutely huge because the game came out on April 26th. It only had a couple of days in April, and then bing, bang, boom, it ended up jumping into May. That game still made $20 million when it came out in April, which is absurd for a brand new game. But this is just what's absolutely insane. I don't super understand any of the people that are saying that, Star Rail is falling off because, I mean, any game, any new game that comes out, you are going to see a massive dip in the player base with maybe 10% of them actively sticking around. And the fact that Star Rail has still managed to consistently be one of the highest grossing gacha games every single month, this thing is here to stay. This thing is going to have events and characters and stuff out the wazoo. Not even just discounting, building the museum in that one event, the Ethereum Wars event, which is basically Pokerman's Huahua's event where you're a Ghostbuster. We're going to be getting so many more events, so many cool things in here. I keep telling people, if there is a game that you should start and play, it is Honkai Star Rail. I think this is the absolute GOAT of games out there right now, and I'm excited that it's doing well. I'm excited that a game I enjoy is doing well. Speaking of another game that's doing well, we have Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade. And let me take a gander and see when this game came out, specifically, just to let you know the gravity of this situation. So Phantom Parade right here, this came out November 21st. November 21st, and the thing has already made $36 million. That is absolutely ridiculous. That is crazy for any sort of brand new game out there. And I mean, I've seen Phantom Parade's gameplay. It's a turn-based game. It looks pretty fun. It's got a lot better cinematic flair than that actual console Jujutsu Kaisen game that is being made right now and looks like every single other anime fighter out there ever. So I'm really excited that this is doing well, and I really hope we get to see a global release based off of its success. Going down the rest of the list, I mean, there's a couple of standard things there. Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis made 21 mil over in JP. I personally, having played this game for a few months after it released and then dropping it, I kind of think this game's garbage. I would recommend staying away from it. It is really just coasting off of that Final Fantasy name. Made 10 mil over here on the global as well. And I hear a lot of good things about Limbus Company. Seeing it make 7.3 million is a really nice thing to see. Here's what you're looking for. This thing right here. The highest combined money makers. Want to guess what number one is? Do you want to guess? All right, you had enough time to guess. Yep, it's Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact made $500 million. That is billion with a B. And combine that with Honkai Star Rail's 381 million, we can see that Hoyoverse's absolute domination of the gacha market is not going to stop anytime soon. I shudder to think what their combined revenue is going to be once we finally get Zenless Zone Zero. Looking at the rest of the top 5, Uma Musume, we all knew this was going to make it into the top 5. Seeing it at number 3 is great. 350 million in the bank for anime girl horse racing game. I really wish it was easier to play. I'd like a chance to go ahead and check it out. FGO still continuing this absolute crazy absurd domination with $333 million, even with, you know, not that many reruns anymore. Reruns are basically dead. New servants are still absolutely carrying the way, and I don't think we'll see any sort of end of service for FGO, at least when it comes to terms of revenue anytime soon. They're going to keep pushing this game until it is done. And going beyond that, number 5, Nikke. This is great. This is great for Shift Up, great for Nikke in general. They have been completely unapologetic in who their audience is. And even though this thing at the time I initially played it made my phone actually heat in my hand, now that I've got a new phone, maybe it's time to go ahead and go back and give it another try. I mean, good for them. Good for them. I am glad that Nikke is doing well. I know it had that Nier crossover that was very, very important. It had the Chainsaw Man crossover on top of that. Both super cool crossovers in that game. I'm excited. I'm excited for Nikke fans to continue enjoying the game. From what I've seen, from what I've played, Anis is best girl. And of course, we got Blue Archive down here at number 6. Blue Archive, of course, deserves a special mention because it just has one of the most dedicated fan bases in gaming, period. Like, if you're a Blue Archive fan, you're a Blue Archive fan. You are in super deep, and it makes me happy to see the game doing well on JP. And it's doing well enough on NA that we're going to keep getting stuff. Of course, we're not going to go through absolutely everything on this list, but those big money makers right here were absolutely worth mentioning. So here in this heavy hitter section, I just wanted to take a gander at, the big 3 that I know a lot of people, and myself included, check out, and wanted to see why they specifically made a lot of money in those months. Uma Musume and Nikke fans, if you can let me know what came out in March for Uma Musume and January for Nikke, respectively. Let me know what came out there that meant this gigantic month of revenue. I would super duper appreciate that. But let's go ahead and take a gander at some of these other games. For Honkai Star Rail, May 2023 was its biggest month for making money. That would have been Sela as well as Jing Yuan. 2 truly incredible characters that are still super duper relevant. I know my Jing Yuan is still clearing content like it's nobody's business. So it's not surprising. That was also a short time after release, so we were still getting, initial spending and all that. It's going to be interesting to see in the next year which character ends up being the most valuable when it comes to Honkai Star Rail summons, because we all thought it was going to be Kafka, and it was not. So I'm very interested to see where that goes. When it comes to Genshin itself, that month of February 2023, I did some digging. That was apparently the Yelan and Hu Tao rerun banners. So that seemed to be the thing that was mostly on people's minds for the month of February in 2023. That was what people wanted to go for, what a lot of people were missing out on. I hear Hu Tao is pretty good. I haven't personally heard much about Yelan myself, but she seems a very popular character if fan art I've seen is any indication. And when it comes to Fate Grand Order, 53 million in August 2023 on JP. What was that? Oh yeah, that was Summer. That was Summer Melu. That was Summer Castoria Berserker. Tons of Summer Servants. And a rerun of Tez on top of that to boot. So a lot of characters that are incredibly popular ended up getting run back to back to back. That seemed like a sort of in case of missing money break glass situation. And yeah, there's not really much else I can say there. FGO's Summer Banner made the most money for the entire year. Who could have guessed? You gotta be kidding me. There's no freaking way that happened. And when it comes to the rest of these, I mean, Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade, that was like the first full month it was out. Of course, it's going to end up making the most money. Dokkan still going strong, and One Piece Bounty Rush making a significant amount too. And the final thing I want to take a look at is the games we lost along the way, just so we can sort of give them their salute, their final send-off. Sino Alice, of course, absolutely ended its service. I mean, the story was done from what I understand, so it was more of a happy send-off rather than a sad one. Destiny Child, surprisingly, ending service. Odds are so they could probably focus on Nikke, which was completely outpacing it in every single way. Girl Cafe Gun, I didn't really hear or know much about, but that only ended up lasting a couple of years. Revived Witch, I heard a ton about when it first came out, and then it just kind of died and went away. Any old Revived Witch fans, if you want to let me know what went on with that in the comments section, I'd really appreciate that. And sadly, Pre-Con Redive. Overall, a pretty solid game, but as is the curse of Crunchyroll games, eventually it got axed. Has really made me wary of touching any of their games, honestly, at all. Which that unfortunately is going to lead to that mindset where you're worried about touching because it's going to end service. Well, then nobody's going to play the game, and it will likely end up ending service. What can you do? But of course, I gotta ask, what do you all think? Let me know down in the comment section below which of these games on this list, if any, are the ones that you are mainly playing. Is there anything you were sad to see it go? Anything you might have seen me mention, you could tell me why it's struggling. And let me know if you did end up summoning on those super popular banners I mentioned for those 3 specific games. Well, did you get the character that it seemed everyone was gunning for? Go ahead and let me know down in the comment section. Anyways, gang, that's it for me, Kawaii50. I hope you all have a phenomenal day. I hope your favorite games continue to do well, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.